An actress was dating a popular actor for the sake of wealth, but she cruelly proposed a breakup when the man was grieving the loss of a loved one. She had already taken all of his assets and only offered the breakup when she was sure he was no longer useful to her. At the time of the intimate moment between Yasin and Renjiang, actress Lee Na's reporters secretly took pictures. Jae-yo, hiding in the dark, captured every movement of the two even more clearly. When Jun Rui was putting a drunk Lee Na into a taxi, he suddenly saw the reporter calling her. He pretended to be Lee Na and answered the phone, learning that the reporter was about to expose the relationship between Yasin and Renjiang. He immediately called Yasin to warn her. Yasin herself offered to meet the reporter. She bribed him with temptation, promising that the exclusive news of her and Renjiang's relationship would be given entirely to him. At the scene, she gave him a USB flash drive containing intimate photos of the two and promised to provide more material in the future on the condition that he stopped following them. Soon after, the news of Yasin and Renjiang's romance spread across the internet, and all major media outlets competed to publish the story. Yasin, who was at the center of the controversy, was rather worried about her agent's rustic love life. She generously allowed her agent to use her card to go to a beauty salon for a makeover. She carefully warned the agent not to drink too much, as there was a risk of telling the truth when drunk. Overwhelmed by this care, the agent quickly returned after getting ready, but she hadn't realized that her date was Jae-yo. When the agent was drunk, Jae-yo lured her into revealing secrets of the entertainment world. The excited agent leaked internal information that could destroy an actor. She had no idea that Jae-yo had already secretly started video recording. Very soon, Lee Na received a video where her agent personally confessed that Lee Na had once driven drunk and forced the agent to take the blame for her. While Lee Na was stunned, Yasin went to her, delighted by her predicament, and warned her that this was the consequence of bothering her. In the next moment, the video was released to the public. Lee Na's phone was instantly flooded with hundreds of curse-filled private messages. The agent who caused this disaster quickly sought help from Yasin, but Yasin dismissed her, saying her words were unreliable and she couldn't be trusted. After completely destroying Lee Na, Yasin focused on her relationship with Renjiang. The two were receiving so many couple commercials that their hands ached, and they openly showed affection in public. The next day, Yasin went to a shopping mall to attend an event and unexpectedly came face to face with Sensi, who was working there as an employee again. Sensi hadn't expected that the devil-like girl would overnight become such a big star, impossible to reach. To take revenge on Yasin, Sensi posted a complaint online, alleging that Yasin had been a bully in school and had deliberately falsely accused classmates. After seeing the post, Jae-yo immediately rallied their former classmates to launch a counterattack. They exposed the truth that Sensi had spread rumors and was eventually forced to transfer schools. Due to the timely counterattack, public opinion not only had no negative impact on Yasin, but many took her side, believing she had been unfairly harassed. Nevertheless, Yasin was disturbed by the incident. That night, she suddenly developed a high fever and began having nightmares. Since Renjiang was working outside, he requested his grandmother to look after her. The grandmother lovingly fed her and gently lulled her to sleep on her lap. The elderly woman believed that Yasin was a good girl. Even if she had truly done those things, there must have been some reason behind it. Never having received such warm care from an elderly person before, Yasin was deeply moved. She voluntarily told the grandmother the password to her room door so she could come and visit her anytime in the future. Just as the incident had calmed down, Yasin unexpectedly met the cafe owner, who had been released from prison, at a temple. The owner did not, as she expected, rush to settle the score with a shout, but calmly asked if she had achieved what she wanted. As they were talking, the grandmother and Renjiang's younger brother, who had come to the same temple, walked over. The grandmother greeted the cafe owner like an acquaintance. Yasin then learned that the grandmother had met the owner while volunteering at the prison. Fearing that the owner would reveal her past in front of the grandmother, Yasin quickly began to speak, saying that she had once worked part-time at the owner's cafe. After leaving the temple, Yazin immediately went to Jayo and instructed him to secretly monitor the owner's movements. On the other hand, Jun Rui's new book Dongmyeon was soon to be made into a movie. Media reported that reporters had seen Jun Rui and Lee Na dating and speculated that Lee Na might play the lead female role in the movie. However, Jun Rui, a longtime investor in Changjin Entertainment and Yazin's invisible patron, directly gave a condition to Representative Xu. The female lead of Dongmyeon must be Yazin. When Ren Jiang learned that the author of Dongmyeon had specifically chosen Yazin for the role, and that the person was also a sponsor of the company, he advised Yazin not to overwork herself and to decide carefully. That night, Yazin went to Jun Rui, scolding him for threatening Representative Xu with money. She also said that he should not have deliberately provoked Ren Jiang to force Yazin to come to him. Jun Rui changed the subject and asked Yazin, "The one-year contract is over, but she is still by Ren Jiang's side. Does this mean she has fallen in love with Ren Jiang?" Unwilling to show weakness, Yazin countered by asking why Jun Rui was so close to Lee Na, even after knowing that Lee Na tried to expose her. Jun Rui said that Lee Na was dangerous to Yazin, so he was deliberately keeping her close to him. Jun Rui then slowly moved toward Yazin, the distance between them shrinking, their breaths almost mingling. Just then, Lee Na suddenly burst into the room and threatened to go to Ren Jiang and expose Yazin's late-night presence at Jun Rui's house. Yazin, unconcerned, prepared to leave. Jun Rui tightly grabbed Lee Na, who was trying to cause trouble. The next day was Yazin's birthday. Ren Jiang carefully arranged a romantic date. Just as he was taking out a ring to propose to Yazin, Lee Na suddenly arrived with Jun Rui and publicly exposed that Yazin had been at Jun Rui's house the previous night. The good atmosphere was completely ruined. Ren Jiang angrily turned and went to the balcony for fresh air. Yazin followed him and said that she and Jun Rui were unrelated siblings, and there was no other relationship between them. Immediately after finishing her sentence, Ren Jiang received a call from his younger brother. After hanging up, he told Yazin that the grandmother had found the diary she lost last year. The grandmother had originally gone to Yazin's house to prepare her birthday meal, but since returning home, she hadn't eaten or drunk anything and was very upset. Since the younger brother had gone out and Ren Jiang had work, he requested Yazin to go home and look after the grandmother first. Yazin was stunned upon hearing this. She quickly took leave of Ren Jiang, jumped onto Jaeyo's motorcycle, and rushed towards the grandmother's house. Pushing open the door, she saw the grandmother sitting silently on the sofa, with the diary placed in front of her. Actually, while cooking at Yazin's house, the grandmother's hand had accidentally been cut. While looking for medicine in the cabinet, she unexpectedly found the diary that Yazin had hidden. Jaeyo was waiting outside the door as instructed, and Jun Rui also arrived there shortly after. A moment later, they suddenly heard a loud noise from inside the room. They rushed in to see, but saw the grandmother had fallen down the stairs, and Yazin was standing at the top of the stairs. The grandmother was quickly taken to the hospital, but sadly could not be saved. Ren Jiang missed the opportunity to see his grandmother one last time. The police began investigating the cause of the grandmother's death. Yazin calmly stated that the grandmother had gotten up to feed a stray cat at the time, suddenly felt dizzy, lost her balance, and accidentally fell down the stairs. At the grandmother's funeral, the cafe owner unexpectedly showed up. Ren Jiang's younger brother had previously seen the owner at the temple and heard that he had been in prison, so he searched the internet for the murder case related to the owner. The news stated that the incident was related to a part-time student working at the cafe. The younger brother could not hold himself back and went forward to ask if the part-time student involved in the incident was Yazin, who had once worked at his shop. The owner shook his head, saying that Yazin had no relation to this incident, and he was merely a member of the victim's family. All the external rumors were baseless. Yazin, hiding in the dark, approached the owner after hearing these words and merely asked why he was protecting her. The owner confessed that during his first year in prison, he was indeed very angry with Yazin and had planned countless times how to take revenge. But later, he gradually understood that if Yazin had a good adult to guide her in her life, she would never have reached this stage. After the funeral ended, a neighbor secretly told Renjiang that on the day the grandmother died, she had seen a young woman enter the grandmother's house. A little while later, she heard the grandmother crying. She also saw the grandmother hitting the girl's chest and asking tearfully why she had lied to her. The neighbor also added that the upstairs resident had installed a CCTV camera, which might clarify the situation at that time. But when Renjiang went to the upstairs neighbor, he learned that the CCTV video had been taken by the police. In fact, the person who took the video was Renjiang's younger brother. He handed the USB flash drive with the CCTV video to Junrui and punched Junrui hard. The younger brother firmly believed that the grandmother's death was not Yazen's doing, and he accused Junrui of never being willing to trust Yazen. Junrui was conflicted. On one hand, he was afraid to see something he didn't want to see, and on the other hand, he couldn't ignore the truth. Caught in this struggle, he delayed opening the USB flash drive and eventually got drunk. Li Na dragged him home. The grandmother's death deeply affected Renjiang. He broke down and even considered retiring. He just wanted to quickly marry Yazen and live peacefully. But Yazen accused him of getting scolded by a newly acquainted famous director because the video of him buying the ring was leaked. Then, she cruelly proposed a breakup. Renjiang could not believe it and felt that Yazen had turned into a different person overnight. He desperately begged her not to leave, but Yazen dealt another fatal blow. She confessed that she had stolen the grandmother's diary. She had initially done it because she wanted to please the grandmother so she could date Renjiang without hindrance. Renjiang completely broke down and asked what she had done to the grandmother. Yazen lightly replied that she had only told the grandmother the truth. Before leaving, she told the reporter to publish the news of their breakup, citing that they were both too busy and their paths had diverged. While driving home, Yazen realized that someone was following her. In this critical moment, Jayo arrived on his motorcycle and stopped the follower. Yazen successfully escaped, but Jayo was not so lucky. A group of men in black surrounded him, and he was beaten, resulting in his head being split and bleeding. As per Yazen's instruction, the reporter officially published the news of their breakup. Around the same time, Representative Shu received news. Renjiang, in despair, had committed suicide at home. Junrui went to Yazen and accused her of Renjiang's death. Yazen paid no attention, only saying that she had only proposed a breakup, and Renjiang himself couldn't handle the situation. She told Junrui not to have any human expectations from her. She then changed the subject, saying that Junrui also had no right to accuse her. She said that when she was about to be drowned in the bathtub by Junrui's mother, Jayo would have saved her without hesitation, but Junrui was merely a silent spectator. Yazen brought up this incident again to instill guilt in Junrui's mind, and then she jumped onto Junrui's lap, emotionally saying that no matter what Junrui does, she would not blame him. After Renjiang's death, fans felt that Yazen had indirectly pushed him to his death by proposing the breakup. They collectively attacked Yazen. In this moment of crisis, Sensi suddenly appeared and helped Yazen escape. As she left, she took Yazen's jacket and expensive bag. This settled the old score between the two of them. Representative Shu considered Renjiang like his own younger brother. To avenge Renjiang, he found the reporter Yazen had once bought and spent a large amount of money asking him to reinvestigate the cause of Yazen's father's death. He wanted the news to be leaked as soon as possible. He wanted to completely destroy Yazen's public image and bring her down hard. Meanwhile, Junrui's mother suddenly came to Yazen. She knelt down and apologized to her, saying that whether Yazen forgave her or not, Junrui must know that she had apologized. She hoped that this way, she could improve her relationship with her son. Yazen's emotions instantly went out of control. She smashed the objects in the room and accused that the person she hated the most at the moment of the grandmother's death was Junrui's mother. She said that at that time, she had knelt before the grandmother and repented. She confessed that she had stolen the diary to get close to Renjiang, But later she truly fell in love with Renjiang and sincerely wanted the grandmother to accept her. The grandmother finally hugged her and forgave her. She also promised to keep it a secret and not tell anyone. Just then, a stray cat's meow was heard from outside. The grandmother got up to feed it. Yazan also went outside with her and saw the grandmother waving, calling her to look at the cat. But before Yazan could reach the grandmother suddenly felt dizzy and fell straight down the stairs. Yazan reached out her hand to catch her, but ultimately took a step back. Intense hatred arose in Yazan's mind. She thought that if past events hadn't forced her to be so cunning as to steal the diary, today's tragedy wouldn't have happened. Therefore, she would never forgive Jun Rui's mother. On the other hand, Jun Rui finally gathered the courage to open the USB flash drive. The CCTV video completely showed the entire incident. Seeing Yazan's helplessness and remorse on the screen, he understood that he had misunderstood her. He was instantly broken with grief and suffered from intense remorse. This is where the episode ends. For the next episode, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.